Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're gonna have a look at the Pilot Custom 912. This pen comes packaged in this grey cardboard box with a Pilot logo on it, and inside the cardboard box there is a hard plastic box, again with a Pilot logo, and inside the plastic box there are some papers as well as the pen itself. I bought this pen from Amazon Japan at a very good price of less than 17,000 yen back in December 2023. Now it's being sold for about 28,000 yen in Japan or around 300 euros or dollars elsewhere. And I figured it would be good to have a look on this pen considering its new pricing. It's made out of injection molded black plastic, and for the most part the injection molding marks are well polished, apart from those on the section. The pen has both ends flat, a very good looking but somewhat stiff metal clip. Then on the cap there are two rings, and the wider one says Custom Heritage 912 Pilot Japan. Overall the pen tapers out and then tapers in slightly towards one more metal ring, and then on the bottom of the body we see just a flat end again. Unscrewing the cap gives us access to a wonderful 14 karat gold nib and a special plastic feed. The special thing about this feed is that you only need to dip it until this breather hole on the bottom in order to fill it, so you don't have to get ink on the section, which is a nice feature that is commonly found on most Japanese gold nib pens. The section is 10 mm wide at the narrowest point, then tapers up slightly to about 11 mm, and it has a nice bit of flaring, which I always like. At the end of the section we see this metal part which is inserted into the section. The threads here are very nicely machined, just like all the other threads on the pen, and there is a little O-ring at the bottom, so the body does not have any tendency to unscrew from the section. Now we see the included CON70 converter. Some people do not love it, but I like it a lot. I find it quite easy to get a full fill of the converter with just a couple of presses. The converter itself weighs 4.5 grams empty, so it gives the pen quite a bit of extra weight, considering that the pen body without the cap weighs only 12.5 grams. Let's quickly check how well the special feed and the converter work. So I will not dip the section, and okay, now we already have a pretty full fill, and I only had to dip the nib about this way just to cover the breather hole in the feed. Overall, this is as good as an injection molded plastic pen can get. It has nice extra features, quite tight tolerances, but it's still injection molded plastic, so you have to decide if that compromise is okay for you or not. Capped, it's pretty average for a full-sized pen at 14 centimeters. Uncapped at 12.5 centimeters, it's a tiny bit shorter than the Leonardo Momento Zero and a little bit shorter than the Lamy Safari. It posts very well, it's just 15.5 centimeters long, shorter than the Leonardo Momento Zero or the Lamy Safari. Alright, so let's have a look at how this pen writes. So the pen is the Pilot Custom 912 and the ink is Lamy Black. So this nib, the FA nib, is quite flexible. It writes from about 0.5 millimeters to not more than 1.5 millimeters. I think already at 1.5 you are pushing it. I chose Lamy Black because it's one of the few inks where this pen does not have too many flow issues, and still you can see that if I try to write super fast, especially as I have been writing with flexing the nib a little bit, now it has some skipping issues, hard start issues. So generally you wanna go slow on this nib and not flex it too much. As I said, 1.5 is the absolute maximum that I would do with this nib. Unfortunately, it does not have a super hard stop at the place where it stops working correctly. So you have to be careful and not flex it too much. And we can also check reverse. This is actually a little bit scratchy, but it gives us a nice extra fine line and the ink keeps flowing. Regarding wetness, it's quite wet with minimal amount of horizontal and vertical line variation. Ergonomically, this pen works fine for me. I have no big complaints. The section is just about wide enough for comfortable use. I usually use this pen post-it because unposted it's a little bit short and I prefer the center of gravity with this pen post-it. Overall, I enjoy using this pen quite a bit. I like the way it looks. I like the Con 70 converter with the special feed. It works well enough for me ergonomically and it's quite well made. What I don't like so much are mainly the flow issues. That's caused by the design of the nib. As you push on it, it moves away from the feet quite a bit. The only modern flex nibs that work really well do have an overfeed, and you can't really fix that fully even with a custom Ebonite feed. I would also welcome more color options, but considering how many nib sizes this pen comes in, I would say the black is okay. And what's probably the worst thing about this pen is the current pricing, around 300 euros, $300, and that is probably going to increase a little bit further. That's the cost of a cheap JoWo number 6 sized pen made out of turned acrylic and a custom stainless steel flex nib with an overfeed, which is going to work better than this one. The price also makes all the other nib options a tough sell. You can choose any pen you want, let's say below 200, and then you can get the nip custom ground or tuned by a Nipmeister, and you will be still below the retail price of the Pilot Custom 912. But if you happen to be in Japan, at 28,000 yen, it's a solid option. For non-Japanese retail pricing, maybe look for something else. That's all for today. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!